Welcome back to the show, everybody. Just a short little episode here. I thought I'd drop in relation to Paul Merson's comments in his column in the Star today. He seemed to throw a little shade on Jurgen Klopp and Liverpool, and as Liverpool fans, our feathers are a little bit ruffled at this. It's not good when you come out and you attack our gaffer. We're going to bite back and stuff like that, especially with a guy like Paul Merson, who's known for dropping a little bit of clickbait at times and creating a little sort of a little bit of controversy where he wants people to bite back. So interesting. We'll go down through his comments anyway. As we know, Liverpool still going for an unprecedented quadruple, even though it's going to be tough tomorrow. Man City are heavy favourites, obviously, to beat Aston Villa. I'd expect us to run out winners against Wolves. If you're asking me in my head, I think we'll fall short by a point. If you're asking me in my heart, I hope Villa get a draw and that we win and that we continue on this historic quadruple potentially into next weekend against Real Madrid in the Champions League final. But our friend Paul Merson had plenty to say on this stuff, and he had argued that our success in cup competitions this season has been to the look of penalty shootouts, that we didn't win the games and stuff like that. Now, I just want to stop right there. First of all, we've won both domestic cups this season in two absolute fabulous games. Both went to penalty shootouts and we won both penalty shootouts. So, in theory, we won the games. Okay, let's clarify that first of all. And I don't think there's even a Chelsea fan out there that would argue that we won. The other thing I would say is, for the last, say, 5 years, I think it is, I'd say roughly, there's been an awful lot of talk getting thrown, an awful lot of shine thrown at Jurgen Klopp in relation to domestic cups and how he kind of hasn't focused on them at all, and kind of people have gone as far as to say we disrespected them in terms of playing weakened sides and all that kind of stuff. And we know all the the controversy that was around that time when we went off to play. I think it was either the Super Cup or the World Club Cup. World Club Cup it would have been, and we had to come back literally next day or something like that. We had to field the week inside, and our under 23s manager, I think, took control of the team and everything and all that. It just was unacceptable. And there was a lot of shine thrown at Liverpool at that stage, and especially to Jurgen Klopp, about how we were disrespecting the Carabao Cup and disrespecting the FA Cup, and that we didn't care about them, and that all we cared about was the Champions League and the league and all this kind of stuff. So then we go out this year and we win both domestic cups. And for some people like Paul Merson, it's still not good enough. And I just find it laughable. I find it laughable that he would come out and say something like that. And I don't know whether he's trying to ratchet stuff up for clickbait or stuff like that. Paul Merson knows well, from a guy who understands the Arsenal Invincibles and stuff like that, that to get this close to a quadruple, to be 2 matches away, even though it's a mammoth task tomorrow and we need a help out from Aston Villa, but to be 2 matches away from an unprecedented quadruple, to throw shine like that is just absolutely bewildering and stupid. Um, then he went on to say, and I want to get his quotes here, he turned around and he said that for him, Pep Guardiola is still the manager of the year if he wins the title. Which on some levels I agree with. Funny enough, actually, we're doing an awards show next week with the guys off the WhatsApp group and stuff like that. And I have in as my manager of the year in terms of the Premier League, Pep Guardiola. Some guys were arguing for Eddie Howe and various other guys. For me, if you win the title, you're the manager of the year. It's 38 games. It shows how consistent you were and stuff like that. Regardless of the players you have available, regardless of the wealth you have available, it all still has to be managed, and you have to show up for those 38 weeks. So there's no argument there with what's being said. Okay. He says the Premier League is the ultimate. Okay. Now, I think the Premier League in some respects is the ultimate, but I think the Champions League is more prestigious in terms of your history and your legacy and your lineage and all that kind of stuff, because you're going against the best in Europe, the cream of Europe you're going against. Whereas if you look in the Champions League, and you could argue in the Premier League, you could argue in the Premier League over the last few seasons, the cream of Europe has been the 3 or 4 clubs in the Premier League. So that argument might hold. Um, you know, and then he turns around, he says, if you win it, you are the best. Jurgen Klopp has done a phenomenal job at Liverpool this season, but if he doesn't win the league, he isn't the manager of the year for me. Okay, interesting comments. He says then, and this is key. This is key for me in terms of the stupidity of the narrative of the crap and the nonsense that he's come out with. He says, don't forget, he says, Liverpool were put in a Champions League group that they could have walked through. Could have walked through. Now, the only reason you're saying that is because we did walk through and we created history and we created a record as the first English club to win all 6 group stage games in the Champions League. It's never been done in the past. Okay. Now, if you revert back to the Champions League draw back all that time ago, we were told we were in the group of death. We were in the most difficult group in the Champions League with the teams that we drew. That's what the narrative was at that time, that we might find it very difficult to get out of that group, that it was like the group of death. Okay. But now, because we sailed through that and we're in the final and we won all our group games and we absolutely smashed teams, this guy's coming out going, we got a Champions League group that we walked through. The only reason we walked through is because we were so good, not because the other teams were so bad. Absolutely ridiculous. And they won both domestic cups on penalties. That's right. Last time I checked, Paul Merson, if you win on penalties, you win the cup. And many a great cup has been won on penalties. But we didn't win the games. Okay. Interesting. We didn't win the games. Okay. What a comment to make out of both sides of your mouth. You didn't win the games, but you only won on penalties. Maybe it shows the mentality of a team, Let's see. If you think City should be disappointed somehow if they only win the league and Liverpool win a treble, you'd be wrong. I don't see that at all. So what he's saying is, if Liverpool go on and win the Champions League and the 2 domestic cups and Man City only win the league, they shouldn't be disappointed. Now, I know, all our viewers know, without question, Pep Guardiola and Man City are set up because they want to win the Champions League. Now, we know that your first baseline in any season is you want to win the league, but the Champions League for Pep Guardiola is the holy grail in terms of Man City, because it doesn't matter. And you can see it's coming out even in Pep's own narrative. It doesn't matter if he wins 10 leagues with Man City. If he doesn't win a Champions League with Man City, then it will feel incomplete and it will be disappointed. So in that case, Paul Merson, I think you're wrong. He says, I'm glad for Liverpool that they've taken the title race to the final day. To win 2 cup finals, be in another and push City all the way is amazing. It's phenomenal what they've done. Okay, agreed. But at the start of the season, it's all about one thing, the Premier League. Wrong. At the start of the season, it's not just about the Premier League. Every team that starts out in this season, if you're in the European spots, has 4 trophies to play for. Okay? And we were told before that if we only focused on the league, we were disrespecting the 2 domestic cups and the history of the FA Cup, the oldest cup in football, the romance of the cup and all that stuff. We were disrespecting it. But now that we've landed both of them, it doesn't count. What else has he said here? The Premier League is 38 games home and away to be the best in the country. Don't buy into all this hype about the Champions League. That's just about egos. Just think about that statement there now. Don't buy into all the hype about the Champions League. It's all about egos. The Champions League is all about egos. The European Cup, the history of the European Cup and the Champions League, the great Barcelona sides, the great Real Madrid sides, the brilliant sides in there, the Ajaxes, all those brilliant sides, Liverpool, Man United winning the treble in the Champions League and the way they beat Bayern Munich. It's all about egos. Shocking. How is this guy getting paid to write this garbage? You could lose more games in that than you do all season in the Premier League and still win it. Really? I think it might be the other way around. Because if you look at us so far this season in the Champions League, how many games have we lost? Okay. How many games have we lost in the Premier League? So that's absolute garbage. Continuing his praise for the Sky Blues, of course. I mean, this may as well be a piece that he wrote for the Manchester Evening News. City can be so proud of themselves as they win another championship. I would have said City can be so proud of themselves when they win another championship. They haven't won it yet. Nothing has been decided. The final day is coming up. Okay. That would be 4 titles in 5 years, which I'm first to say is absolutely outstanding. Unbelievable what they've done. And that is dominant at the highest level. And what Paul Merson forgets about this league is only for Liverpool Football Club, this league would be like the French league in the last 3 to 4 years. So don't forget that either. We're the only team that has pushed City to the absolute pinnacle and the limit of what they are doing. Otherwise, the season would be over back in February. It goes under the radar a bit sometimes. What goes under the radar? People don't give City the credit they deserve. I give City the credit they deserve always on my podcast. I always say how brilliant and how dominant they are. I only spoke about it the other day in the preview where I turned around and I said they've had, I think, 17 games this season where they've scored 3+ goals. Absolutely outstanding. But it seems to be that this narrative at the moment is that like City don't get their flowers and stuff like that. Of course they do. Anyone who's a reasonable football fan or anyone who knows their football always gives City the credit that they deserve, that the players that they have, that the way they set up, the way they go about their business. But you can't talk about a season where you're going for 4 trophies in isolation and just go, the league is it. The league is not it. Because if that was the case, why do we bother taking part in the cups? So why do we bother going into the Champions League? You make it sound like it's not even worth winning. Absolute garbage from Paul Merson as usual. You know, I don't think we give them enough credit. Really? Read this article. They keep churning out titles and going deep into every other tournament too. They're exceptional. Well, we've been churning out titles as well. And we've been going deep into tournaments, deep to the point where we got the penalty shootouts and we won cups. But that doesn't seem to be a big thing. So it's a real weird article for him. It's like to come out on the eve of the final day and to churn out this absolute rubbish, his devaluing of the Champions League. I don't know whether it's bitterness. I don't know whether it's he's had his fill of listening to Liverpool and Liverpool fans. You know, we've had a lot of stuff coming out from Pep. Pep came out today saying all the media supports Liverpool and all this kind of thing. And, you know, and Liverpool, they always want Liverpool to win stuff. Well, hang on a minute. You're just after securing player of the year and you're also after securing young player of the year. So clearly Liverpool doesn't. So it's absolute nonsense. So let's get on this level playing field here, first of all. You know what I mean? Let's be clear about what goes on here. The only reason City is as good as they are, taking into account Pep's work and the squad and the players and everything else, is because Liverpool there is to push them to their absolute limit. And likewise, it's 2 and 4. So it's absolute nonsense that Paul Merson spoke about. So I just thought I'd jump on tonight and do a short episode to talk about what he has said, because I just think it got me fired up a little bit. You know, his disrespect and devaluing of the domestic cups when we've been vilified for it as fans and as a club for the last 4 years, where we've put out kids and we've disrespected it and all this kind of thing. Now, when we put out solid teams and we go and win them, oh, you didn't win them in the games. You didn't win the games, but you won 2 penalty shootouts. You know, you had an easy ride to the Champions League final, but, you know, it was a group that you could walk through, but yet it was called the group of death when the draw was done. Really? Do your homework, Paul Merson. Make up your mind. You know, stop spinning a stupid narrative. Folks, let us know what you think down in the comments. Has he frustrated you today? Did he ruffle your feathers, you Reds fans? What's your thoughts on him? I thought it was absolute garbage that he came out with. It was just him looking to give Pep some payback because Pep was moaning that he wasn't getting his flowers in the media. and it was absolute nonsense. And Paul Merson, you should really take a look at yourself writing this absolute crap. Till next time, the upper tier podcast at gmail.com, at the _upper_ tier on Twitter, Shankly Sessions at Session Shankly on Twitter. Let us know, Reds, what you think. Merson, absolute garbage.